week 2's here, and man, this is the first big game of the year. I've had the Wolfpack circle on my calendar for a year, Bob. Uh, Guys, a couple of weeks ago, we did a preview of North Carolina State. And if you haven't watched it yet, you can click on the link above. And right now, or if you want to wait till the end of the podcast, you can click on a link there. But, we did a deep dive into the Wolfpack, Bob.
The best I've seen, Tim. I've watched, I don't know, 30, 40, 50, 60 hours of podcast in the last month. I've not seen one as good as the one we put out from a Tennessee group about North Carolina State.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, I thought we had the best looking podcasters of anybody I had seen.
Well, that's a given.
That's what I thought. But, because I generally don't
comedies
listen.
are.
I don't listen to myself. I just look at me.
Comedy is our strong suit.
Yeah. That and getting things off the bottom shelves.
Right. Right.
No, we did a big deep dive into them, but today we're going to do a thing of the matchups of these teams, and really the keys. If North Carolina State wins, what are they going to have to accomplish to get there?
Yeah.
Tennessee wins. What are we going to be talking about Saturday night? They said, hey, this is what we done. This is what we took advantage of.
Yeah.
So guys, we really appreciate you taking a few minutes out of your day to join us, Bob.
Right. Yeah, guys, remember to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, because honestly, if you don't hit the notification bell, it don't do you a whole lot of good as far as hitting the subscription button. So if you tend to watch a lot of our videos, hit those, because you don't want to miss any of them.
Yeah. And hit that comment thing. If you're a big Orange fan, give us a big orange in the comment section.
Yeah, and if you're an NC State fan, tell us
go
what you
pass
think.
Something,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. But yeah, let's get into what we think is the what has to happen for both teams for them to win.
We'll start out with Tennessee, since we are, big orange.
That's right. I think you have to start off with quarterback position. Grayson McCall is, he was quarterback for Coastal Carolina, seemed like forever. Very successful there. Now, last year, he took a step back, and that was the first year without Jamie Chadwell. So, was Chadwell, was he the magic dust? Was he what made him better? Because he struggled last year. He ended up with an injury halfway through the season, but he had 10 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Completion dropped down quite a bit.
Well, new offense. It may not have been a bad offense.
Right.
Just a new offense.
And maybe he would have gotten better.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. But didn't perform all that great. And then he had an interception in the first game against Western Carolina. So do we have a pattern here?
Maybe.
So we'll see. That was a big thing. I thought.
I guess can we make him have a pattern starting today, right?
Yeah, that's what we're shooting for.
And I guess that's one of our first matchups, getting after McCall.
Oh, yeah. And something else I was going to say real quick. Don't have the strongest arm. I noticed some people labeled it as a noodle arm. I don't know if that's accurate or not, but he's definitely not Joe Milton. That's for sure.
No, which having a strong arm, as we saw, isn't necessarily the recipe for success all the time.
No, absolutely not. You got to place it somewhere.
Yeah, I remember Danny Werfel. Weak arm.
Yeah.
And all he did was anything he wanted to.
Exactly. That's true. But yeah, with McCall, what do we see out of him? What does he do? Can we pressure him? And I think we will. That's the biggest key in my opinion. But something else, Tim, they went out and got quite a few pieces in the portal. Have they all meshed yet? 2 of those pieces are running backs. And I think the running game is critical for both teams, but I think even more critical maybe for NC State.
Well, they don't want to be one-dimensional against our pass rushers.
Absolutely not. I mean, that is, I think, all the talk is about quarterbacks, wide receivers, tight ends, all that.
It's still a line of scrimmage game.
The team that runs the best wins this ball game, in my opinion. But they went out and got Waters from Duke, Hollywood Smothers from USC. first game, wasn't super impressed. I think they probably was upgrades over what they had. I'm not sure if you've seen their upside yet. They didn't seem like they was like, oh man, they lit up Western Carolina. You know what I mean?
Well, no, they didn't. Well, kind of probably maybe fourth quarter. I think if West Carolina was getting a little wore out, or if North Carolina State finally said, guys, we got to get our head out of our tail end and let's take this game over. And they did that.
Well, now, was that because they figured stuff out, or did a FCS team get tired?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the thing we don't know.
But, you know,
I expect a better effort out of them.
oh, yeah. And I'll say this. We'll kind of jump out just here for a second. I'm going to go ahead and say right now, number one, we've mentioned numerous times, can't take a whole lot of stock in game one. I mean, we know that. There's a huge jump between them, especially when you're playing FCS opponents. But I fully anticipate NC State to play much better than they did against
Absolutely.
Western Carolina.
Absolutely, they will.
But as far as going back to that offensive line team, they seem to be better pass blockers than run blockers. So that might be part of their running game issues.
Yeah, it could be. I mean, I'll be the running backs.
Yeah. Another thing that was pretty concerning if I was an NC State fan, and this goes back to last year, they had 9 tackles for loss against that Western Carolina team, but they struggled against that last year.
Yeah, they had a very high number of TFL, giving up TFLs last year. And as everyone that watches UT knows, that's something that since Banks has been here, we have really went after, played across the line of scrimmage with averaging probably close to 100 TFLs a year.
You don't want to get behind the sticks against us. You know, you don't want, second and long, third and long. You know, that's a big deal. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely. Because if we can pin ears back, we've got a lot of guys that go into a rabbit package, or just the 4 guys we have out there. We can get after you from a lot of different angles.
Something else that I heard this week that I thought was interesting was Tony Gibson. He only played,
and that's the defensive coordinator for
right.
North Carolina State.
They only played 19 guys on defense last week. That's a very small number. And against us, a team that runs extremely fast, I think that's going to be a problem for them.
Well, it is. I would agree. That's a matchup that we have of our tempo against their possibly lack of depth. That will wear on you. And that could very well be a key to this game. It could be a close game going into the fourth quarter. And then, depth takes over.
Very possible. I would not be surprised if we wear them down some in the fourth quarter. I think this game might stay close. And then in the fourth quarter, might.
I will say they do have 2 starters basically back. One that missed the game totally, and then one that pretty much basically missed the game because he got tossed out first series.
Yes.
So that helps.
Yes, absolutely. Going back to Gibson Town, he hasn't really seen a whole lot of these offenses. The spread, back spread.
At least this type, the Baylor family.
Right.
The veer and shoot.
Right.
Particularly with this tempo.
Yeah. I agree. So what does he do? I mean, they run an odd defense. It's a 3-5-5. A 3.
3-5-5 would probably be more effective than a 3-3-5.
Right. I got my numbers off there just a little bit.
Yeah, I will take. Dirk Dooley tried to run that, and people said, "Hey, no, you can't." And it cost us the game.
Yeah,
but if you get by with it, it's a damn good strategy.
Late 13 out there. I mean, that comes up good. But yeah, we've struggled a little bit against those defenses before, but he likes to be very exotic. He likes to bring blitzes from, corners, safeties, plenty of linebackers.
Yeah, he may bring 8, he may drop 8. But, like you getting around to, being spread out so much, being a quarterback-friendly offense, we've heard that a million times out of Heupel's offense.
Right.
part of that being a quarterback-friendly offense is not letting this get you because you can read it.
Right. Exactly. Uh, you know, and I will say, going back a step there, I think a huge thing to this game is NC State really needs to run the ball well. Uh, I think it'll take a lot of pressure off McCall, um, but I don't think they're going to be able to do it, Tim. Um, but probably the next biggest thing that jumps out to me, Tim, when I'm thinking, what helps Tennessee win? What is the main thing? And I can't believe it's took us to this point in the podcast. But Nico.
Who?
I mean, Nico.
Oh, yeah, I think I heard about him this week.
Yeah.
On a couple of podcasts from
some national
across the world, maybe.
some
the hype train has went through the roof for Nico.
Absolutely. Some guys that probably like David Pollock, people like that, can't stand Tennessee, honestly, had all kinds of praise for him. So Nico,
well, he showed up and he showed out last week.
He did.
If I wish I had $1 for every time I said, well, it was Chattanooga, but the fact of the matter was it was Chattanooga, but he looked like $1 million.
He looked fantastic. He actually exceeded my expectations. I am all over the Nico hype train.
Well, I want to see this week, and don't get me wrong, I'm not off the Nico train,
right?
But I do want to see it against a defense that's got a very successful defense coordinator and very successful head coach when it comes to defense.
Again, looking at Tennessee, Tim, I just think we got too many weapons. We got Nico, who can win a game by himself, just about it. You've got quite a few weapons at wide receiver. I think our wide receivers playing much better. I think we got some weapons at tight end. We got
weapons in the run game.
We do. We got quite a few weapons in the run game. I think we just got too many for NC State. I think there's several of those guys could take over a game, and I think that's what you need. Plus, when you look at the defense, Tim, I think we got some advantages there.
Well, they lost a lot. Now I know North Carolina State historically very good defenses under Dorian.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that'll be a pretty good unit before this year is out. I really do.
Mm-hmm.
But, first game in, overreaction time, it looked like they missed a few people.
It did. I just think we're going to be too good on the defensive line.
You mean our offensive line?
Well, I mean, I think we're going to be too good on our defense.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. You jumped over to the other side.
I think we're just going to be too good on the defensive line. I think we're going to stop their run, and I think we're going to pressure the quarterback and make them throw it before they want to. Because I'll tell you what, something else we haven't really talked a whole lot about. They go through a lot of progressions. They like to throw it around. To me, it takes too long. You don't want to do that against Pierce and company.
No, you don't. And really, I mean, it ain't just sacks. It's tactful losses.
Yeah.
They were bad at it a year ago, bad at it this past weekend.
That's right.
We're going to come across the line of scrimmage, whether it's during run blitzes or pass blitzes. And we don't just have, this is not just James Pierce show.
Right. You don't want to get behind. If you're NC State on, second, 12, whatever, it's not good.
If you get behind the sticks, you're getting beat with a stick.
Right. Now, let's look at it, Tim, from
NC
State's point of view.
Yeah, if they win this game, I'll be surprised if it ain't due to 2 or 3 things we're going to talk about.
Right.
Start off with myself. I think it's Casey Concepcion, Joe Lee, the tight end.
Yeah.
If I'm NC State, I'm attacking the middle of Tennessee's defense.
Absolutely. That's the weakness of our defense. Yeah.
And it's their strength of their team, I think. And that's the one negative for us. The strength of their offense, I believe, is primed to go at the weakness of our defense. Our safeties,
right,
we've not had good linebacker drops since Heupel's been here.
Yeah, you've been preaching on that for a while.
I did. I have been. I think Ainge, I'm hoping, is the guy to fix that.
Yeah.
And maybe the personnel's better too for that.
Right.
And our stars, they're going to have to try to. You're not going to shut Concepcion down,
Right.
but if you can keep them from just having a monster game,
Yeah.
I feel better about it. If I'm the NC State though, that's where I'm going at.
That does concern me, Tim. I mean, you got KC Concepcion. I've heard some Tennessee fans like, oh well, he's pretty good.
No,
No,
he's
this
really
guy's probably like a first team or second team All American. That's how good this guy is. Then you got Justin Jolie at tight end. You've got two guys, and Concepcion plays slot. You got two guys that's going to be wearing out the middle of that field. You know, well, you kind of touched on it a second ago. The weakness of our defense, in my opinion, safety
good.
and inexperience at the nickelback. And those are the people that's going to be largely responsible to stopping their pass.
Those two guys.
Because I feel good about our corners. I think our corners will do good. But, something else too that's a big key to this game, Tim. I don't know if you know about this other guy we got, James Pierce. Pretty good. But
NC State's hoping they can negate him, right?
absolutely. They got a very good left tackle. I've seen him in different reports, but some have him in the first round. So
Yeah, some quite a bit less.
right, they do.
But the Wolfpack's very high on Anthony Belton.
Right. And he is not only their best pass blocker, but their best run blocker as well. So you have Pierce, which is probably our worst run defender, going against their best.
I've heard my whole life. The best way to stop a great pass rusher is to run right at them. And, that may not be, 100% truthful. I don't know. But that's what you try to. And then, like you said, the best run blocker is actually going to be across from him when he lines up on that side.
So if I'm NC State, I'm running it at Pierce early and often. I'm testing that.
Yeah. Now, I personally think, from a Tennessee fan point, I expect him to be better this year.
Right.
He's added weight, he's added size, he's added experience.
Right.
But if they win, it's because they were probably able to do it.
Exactly. I'll tell you something else that a lot of people have, Tennessee fans, have kind of overlooked, and I think it was a huge key in that Western Carolina game, Tim. The fact that their middle linebacker, probably their most experienced linebacker, I think it's Fordham. His name.
That's Fordham.
He got put out, I think, in the first
First drive, I believe, yeah.
with the targeting. He's also the guy that has their mic in these helmets.
Yeah, and I'm sure, obviously someone else took it,
Exactly.
but
That's something they wasn't prepared for.
they wasn't prepared for it. I'm sure
Here,
he had more practice with it than anyone else. I'm positive.
I really think that was a big deal. I fully expect this defense to play better, and would have played better had he been in the game.
Oh, absolutely.
I tell you another player, Tim, and I have not heard any other Tennessee podcast mention this, or just about anybody. But Aiden White, Tim, one of their star cornerback, hasn't given up a touchdown in 2 years.
Just so happens, neither have I.
Exactly. One thing I wonder about there, with Nico, played fantastic. He tried some passes that you normally don't try.
Yeah. And they worked
And they worked.
against Chattanooga.
Exactly. That's where I'm kind of going. It's against Chattanooga. Does he? I don't think he has any fear. I'm not saying he's not makes, stupid decisions.
No, absolutely not.
But I would not. He's not going to shy away from Aiden White. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and Aiden White's definitely a step up in competition. That's a quality corner right there. Don't think he had his best game against Western Carolina, but you're a quarterback. I'm sorry, you're going to lose a pass every now and then.
If NC State's going to win this ball game, interceptions, I think is the key for them. I mean,
They had 17 last year.
17,
I think
what,
top five.
top
Yeah.
five in the country. I mean,
Yeah, and if I'm, they run the 3-3-5 defense, like you said a minute ago, confuse the young quarterback. That's what they're going to try to do against Nico. You've got some quality people. Um, like White. If things roll your way, it's because you were able to do these things.
Right. Yeah, I agree. Uh, you know, I'll be curious, Tim. We mentioned it kind of before. What do they do? I mean, they NC State loves to. They can bring the house, or they can drop 8. You know, how does Nico handle that? I mean, he doesn't have a lot of experience. If I'm an NC State fan, that's one of the things I'm like. I'm banking on. You know what I mean?
Well, I promise you, the coaches are banking on trying.
Yeah. One other thing, Tim. We mentioned the whole fact that they play a 3-man front. We've struggled to run a ball against 3-man front some. So uh, if they're going to win, I mentioned it before, running the ball for both teams super important. You gotta can't be one dimensional. Uh, you've got to be
So if they
not predictable.
successfully run the ball on us, they can actually, with their new weapons they have at wide receiver,
Yeah,
Noah Rogers, and everything like that, that allows them to actually get into their passing game some.
yeah, it does. Um, I think that's just the biggest key to this game is who runs the ball better. I know it's all Nico, this and that, but to me, the running game's a huge part. Tim, with all that being said, what do you think? I mean, who wins this ball game?
Well, have you seen my shirt?
Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah. Okay, it was a giveaway. Okay. Uh, Look, I said the other day 2 things. Don't overreact. You know, I think last episode I said I thought we'd win by 10.
right.
Um, so obviously I'm going to overreact now. And actually, I'm still not giving, I don't think, a huge overreaction. I'm going 41-24, the good guys.
Yeah,
Um, wouldn't be surprised if it's a little closer. I wouldn't be surprised if it's not a little closer.
right.
But that's mine, Bob. 41-24, good guys.
Well, last game I thought, last podcast I thought, you know, Tennessee wins by 7. I think's what my prediction was. I can't unsee that NC State game against Western Carolina, and I can't unsee Tennessee game against Chattanooga. Those two teams played two very similar teams.
That's true. Their opponents are very, very similar.
Very,
I think they scored last year. They played against each other.
yeah,
It's 52-50.
yeah, pretty close.
Yeah.
Uh, I just can't unsee those games. One team destroyed the other. Uh, the other team struggled with it. Can't undo that. I'm going 38-21 balls. I could see this game being very tight, and I could see this game getting out of hand. Um, but
Well, if it doesn't get out of hand, the hype train for Nico and the Vols, boy, it's going to pick up some steam.
absolutely,
I'm going to be throwing some coal on it myself.
I am already. I don't even need to win. I'm just going to not turn the TV on and just pretend like we did.
It's helped before in some of our previous coaches. That's been the best thing to do.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, with that being said, guys, remember to like, subscribe, comment, hit that notification bell. We do appreciate you a great deal. And mostly, go Vols.
Go Vols, beat the pack.
Right.